Hello everybody, this is TubeMix here and welcome to another episode of TubeMix's Reviews. And in this episode I'm going to be reviewing Voyage by ABBA, which was their long-awaited comeback album to complement their show ABBA Voyage. I don't know if you've been to see it with their avatars. And I was going to review it last year when it came out in November, but it fell through somehow. But anyway, I'm going to review it to kick off the Christmas album reviews. And so without further ado, you know what I'm going to say. Run the titles. So track one is called I Still Have Faith in You, and it's a ballad, and it reminds me particularly of two songs. One, I Know Him So Well from Chess, which is of course written by ABBA band members Bjorn Ulvaeus and Benny Andersson, which they wrote with Sitin Rice. Made famous by Elaine Page and Barbara Dixon, of course, and they made it into a big hit. And the other one is Freiheit's, actually Keeping the Dream Alive, a song that you sometimes hear around Christmas time, actually. By German band Freiheit. So it reminds me of those two songs, and I said about Elaine Page, I could really imagine Elaine Page singing it. In fact, when I heard it on the radio first, I thought it was Elaine Page singing. Agnetta's voice is deepened quite a bit, obviously with age and stuff. Yes, it's a good song. It has a nice slow. It builds up into, the drums come in and the orchestra comes in, and it's all very good. Would I revisit it? Not sure. I think it's very good. I don't think it's bad, but it's not my favourite track off the album. But I think, look, if you like ABBA, then I think you're going to like it, and with all the tracks anyway in this album. But we will see what I think of them. Right, let's move on. So track 2 was called When You Danced With Me, and it's a Celtic folk sounding song really, so not really what you think of ABBA sound, but it actually blends very well. It makes me think of One of Us a bit in terms of the beat, and it also makes me think of the floral dance. Of course, we've got Children in Need coming up. Of course, made famous by the late great and much missed Sir Terry Wogan. So yeah, it did kind of make me think of that. Could also imagine Val Doonican doing it actually. Maybe Roger Whittaker. It feels like it is a new song, but it does feel like one of those old folk songs. I think it'd be good at a wedding. Or a party, people clapping along. It's a very catchy song. It will get stuck in your head, and it's a good one to clap along to. If you're cooking, whatever. I think it's a good song to do that too, or to while you're doing housework, I think, or whatever, I suppose. Yeah, it's a great song. I actually think it's better than I think I like it better than when I first heard it, which must have been a year ago now, because that's when the album came out. So yeah, it's really good. I think it's got to be one of my favourite tracks on the album. And would I revisit it again? Yes, I think I definitely would. Track 3 is called Little Things, and I told you there was the Christmas song on this album. Well, that's what that's what, put my teeth back in, that's what this song is. Now, technically, ABBA have already done a Christmas song, and that is I Have a Dream. But, well, this one is specifically about Christmas. It's specifically of Christmas in the lyrics. Whether I Have a Dream, could work for Christmas, but doesn't necessarily have to be. And actually, I prefer Westlife's own version, actually. I just think the key of their version makes it a bit more livelier, whether I always think Agneta and Annie Fried sound a bit bored, really. So, yeah, I just think Westlife's version is more livelier. Anyway, I really like this. It also reminds me, I know I say this a lot, but a lot of songs remind me of other songs. And this reminds me particularly of The Little Drummer Boy. Or you may know it as when it was joined together, fused. That's a great word, isn't it? Fused. With a new song, Peace on Earth, which Bing Crosby and David Bowie, I know, that still sounds crazy that they got together. But, yeah, they did. And Alan Jones and Terry Wogan, actually, again, I know, second time Children in Terry Wogan's come up, but they did it as well. So, yes, it reminds me of that. Again, I could imagine Elaine Page singing this as well. I don't know whether it's just because she's been in chess, but Agneta's voice, as it's deepened, reminds me of Elaine Page. Even though Elaine Page is not Swedish, but yeah, I'm getting very Elaine Page feelings from Agneta on this, which is not a bad thing. I like Elaine Page has quite a nice voice, and and a laugh is just also infectious. I don't know if you've ever listened to EPOS, Elaine Page on Sunday on Radio 2. Well, just look up Elaine Page's laugh, and it's just absolutely funny. So yeah, would I revisit this song? Yes, I would. Oh, there's also a callback to I Have a Dream. I Have a Dream has a children's choir. Well, this does as well. And it's really charming. I could imagine it being used for an advert. In fact, I'm surprised it hasn't already. It'd be perfect for John Lewis. Other brands are available. For a Christmas advert, it just has that really nice, timeless and lovely feel to it, and it's a slow ballad, so perfect for an advert that has a story or something. Would I revisit it? Yes. I think this song particularly, when I play, when I listen to Christmas songs, I think this is going to be up there, because it used to be that I used to play Happy New Year, but that's got the chop from me now, and swapped it for Little Things. Right, let's move on. So, track 4 is called Don't Shut Me Down, and you would think that it would be a ballad. Well, it starts off like that. It starts off like many of the great disco songs. You think of Irene Cara's What a Feeling, from Flashdance, of course, and Gloria Gaynor's I Will Survive, and Don't Leave Me This Way. It starts off slow and then builds up, and then you completely get... then you start to dance, I suppose. this song reminds me of Love Unlimited Orchestra's Love's theme, which was of course written by the late great Barry White. And in fact it also reminds me of his own song Let the Music Play. And you could imagine the start having a Barry White sort of spoken intro, like Let the Music Play, with his signature deep voice, unmistakable, doing talking on it. But yeah, it's fantastic. I think it's definitely my favourite track off the album. No hesitation there. I think it's great to play at a disco. I think if you're DJing on the decks, I recommend it. I think it'd be good. At a wedding, I think it would also work as a love song as well. I love how the strings on it as well. I'm a big fan of strings, really. I think it's just fantastic, particularly like a disco song, and just how they just sort of just I just try to think of the word. Just go in pitch gradually, one by one, and yeah, it's just fantastic. There's a bit of saxophone in there. There's a bit of synthesizers as well. So it could easily fit into a late 70s, early 80s, when of course synthesizers started to put my teeth back in. Synthesizers were starting to come in, but you still have the strings and orchestra sections. So yeah, so it would fit perfectly, really, on that. And it doesn't feel like a new song at all. It feels like an old song. Would I revisit it? Yes, absolutely, no hesitation. I think one of the best songs on the album, if not the best song. Right, yeah, let's move on. So track 5 is called Just an Ocean. It was originally recorded for the Voulez-Vous album, but Benny and Bjorn weren't satisfied with the mix of the song, and it just got canned, basically. So this features the original vocals from that session. So you might be wondering, they're sounding quite young. Has there been some auto-tune? No, there hasn't. No, they've taken the vocals out of the original track, and Benny added some drums and some guitars, and yeah, it's a really great track. Actually, I really like it, and actually the music from, whether it's just new, but actually I do prefer some of these songs to Dancing Queen, really the songs that become classics. But I don't know, I just get a bit I think they get overplayed a little bit, and maybe if these got overplayed, maybe I'd change my mind. But I really do like the song. It makes me think a bit of Status Quo. Could imagine them doing it. Francis Rossi, I think, would suit it very well. It also reminds me of Billy Swan's I Can Help, if you remember that track from the 70s, which people always thought it was George Harrison, although it does sound like him. Billy Swan's I Can Help, a brilliant track, and covered brilliantly by the king himself, Elvis Presley, as well. And actually, I could imagine Elvis doing this one as well. I think him in his jumpsuit in Vegas in the late mid 70s, I think it would really suit Elvis very well, I think. And yeah, it's a really fantastic song. It's very Eurovision-esque as well. You could imagine ABBA entering Eurovision with it as well, I think. It's a really great song. And again, if you're at a party or a disco, I think put this on, and I think people would really enjoy it, and it would go down well. Or a wedding. I know I say this a lot, but a lot of these songs do really, maybe you might enjoy these and find that you're inspired and you really like them, and then add them to your wedding or party playlist, whatever. And really good song for that. Would I revisit it? Yes, I really do like it. It's great. It's got that classic ABBA sound, and it also reminds me of the Bay City Rollers' "Bye Bye Baby" a little bit. So I know the vocal tracks were recorded in the 70s, and it just feels like it was literally they've lifted. Well, I suppose they literally have lifted some of it from the 70s, but it really does feel like that it's an old, it doesn't feel new. Well, yes, I know I'm digging myself into a hole here, I know, but it feels like it could become a classic. Yeah, let's leave it at that. Right, let's move on. The next track is called "I Can Be That Woman," and it's a ballad, and it's not very often you get a song with sleeping on the couch as its opening lyrics, so I did kind of find that funny. It is a beautiful ballad. Would I say it's memorable? Not really. Would I say it's my favourite? No, not really. But you can't expect to like every track on the album. However, Agnieszka's voice is still wonderful, and Annie Frieden, the harmonising is brilliant as well. So again, I mean, they do really know how to deliver a ballad, don't they, ABBA? As well as all the very upbeat stuff, they are also very good at doing ballads as well. So, and if you like ABBA, then yes, I think you're going to like this song. I've not really got much to say really about this song. I think on that note, I think we should move on. The next track is called "Keep an Eye on Dan," and you would think, or I would have thought, it'd be a ballad. But no, you'd be wrong. It's a very upbeat song. It's really catchy, and it will get stuck in your head. And it's definitely... sorry, put my teeth back in. It's definitely memorable. And that's always a good sign for a song. Yeah, it's a good one you can have a dance to. I mean, you'd think "Keep an Eye on Dan" would be particularly a sort of very sad sort of ballad, wouldn't you? But no, it's a really good, really catchy song. Again, a good pick for a disco, or wedding, or whatever, or festival even. If you're doing a DJ set, it's a really good song. Would I revisit it? Yes, I think I would. Right, let's move on. Right, the next track is called "Bumblebee," and it's quite hypnotic actually. It's a lovely track, and Annie Fried, I think, is singing lead vocals on this one. So a lot of the songs have been sung by Agnieszka, but no, Annie Fried is singing this one, so nice to hear her, and she is a nice sort of deeper voice, I suppose, would be the best way to describe it. Is it memorable? I suppose so. Would I revisit it? No, I don't think so. I could imagine. I know I said this, I know, but yeah, ABBA do give a very Elaine Page feel to this, but it could be because Elaine Page has been in chess, and so yeah, maybe that's the reason. Because I'm just thinking chess. Right, let's move on. The next track is called "No Doubt About It," and it's got that classic ABBA sound, and it also reminds me of Glenn Fry's. I know it's spelled Frey, but it's Glenn Fry. Glenn Fry's "The Heat Is On" from Beverly Hills Cop. I had to think then. Beverly Hills Cop. And it also reminds me of the Cults' she sells Sanctuary, which is a great classic rock song. So it reminds me of that, and it also reminds me of The Heaters On. And Agneta also did a different song called The Heaters On, which is also very good, which is quite obscure actually, but Ken Bruce is actually playing on radio too, and it's a nice summery song. Anyway, back to this song. I think there's a banjo as well. You don't think of a banjo in an ABBA song, do you? But no, that's it works. It sounds very good, and apparently it's been played on. Just looking at the YouTube comments, it was played on country radio stations, and excuse me. I now realise what I Can Be That Woman was about. It's about Tammy Wynette, the legendary country singer, or you may know, of course, for a collaboration with the KLF, Justified and Ancient. So yeah, it was about her and George Jones, the late great legendary country singer as well. So it was about them. So obviously that was a bit more helpful. But back to this song. And yeah, you don't think of ABBA and country, but you know what? It goes really, really well. And Netta, put my teeth back in. I'll tell you what, if you were to do a bingo of all the phrases, this song reminds me of put my teeth back in. They come up so much, don't they? I just imagine you just made a bingo card of all the things I say in these in TubeMix's album reviews. Anyway, so Agneta, Annie Fried, Bjorn and Benny are just so good harmonising together. And excuse me, sorry. It's a really good song, and yeah, ABBA and country do really surprisingly go well together. Would I revisit it? Yes, I think I would. I think it's one of the album's best tracks, I think, and yes, I'd definitely revisit it. And again, good for a wedding, disco, party, festival, and also it's memorable and will get stuck in your head. It's got a really great hook as well. Right, let's move on to the... And so we've come to the final track. It's called Ode to Freedom, and it's a wonderful ballad, sweeping, full of strings and an orchestra, and it feels like it... Well, it kind of reminds me of Cavatina, the theme from The Deer Hunter by Stanley Mars, played by John Williams. No, not that John Williams. No, I'm talking about the Australian guitarist, classical... Put my teeth back in. Australian classical guitarist John Williams, and that song always gives me goosebumps. Before I even knew it's from The Deer Hunter, you may remember if you watched Tony Hart's programs if you watched Take Heart, one of Tony Hart's programs in the 70s, you might remember that music was used for the gallery. Where young people would send in their artwork, and they would have a look at them, and that was the music that On Take Heart did, but obviously not for Vision On, because that had the theme music to Take Heart, which is very confusing a bit. Left Bank 2 by the Novel Tones was used for that, and for Heartbeat I can't quite remember what was used. But something. Anyway, I'm deviating. So I'd be terrible. I'd be terrible just a minute, wouldn't I? Because, deviating. Anyway, it's a lovely ballad. It's really great. The orchestra. It's epic. It's just a really big, epic, dramatic ballad, and it's a really, really wonderful track as ever. And excuse me, Agneta, Annie Fried, Benny and Bjorn, they just work so well together, don't they? Their vocals, even though their voices have changed slightly, they've still got it. And even though they've been away for all these years, it's like it's never left them, really. It's like they've never left. It's like they've just kept on bringing new music out consistently. Yeah, they're just absolutely fantastic. So my overall would I revisit this track? Yes, I think I would. I don't think it's my favourite track. I think it's between Just a Notion, Don't Shut Me Down. Keep an Eye on Dan is quite good as well. My overall thoughts, if you are an ABBA fan, yes, you're going to love this album. If you're not, I still think you would like this album, because maybe you're just fed up of hearing the same old Mamma Mia and Waterloo, and they're great, but you just hear them too much, really. In fact, prior to this, I don't really listen to much ABBA, really, and I've not ever really been an ABBA fan, despite me being surrounded by their music. I've just never really been an ABBA fan. I'm trying to think of the last ABBA song, that I played prior to listening to the album. I think it was Eagle. Yeah, it would have been Eagle, actually. Oh no, I played Summer Night City a bit. Does Your Mother Know? And I do. And yeah, I think that's... Oh, and actually I played a very obscure song, Susie Runaround, I think, which features Benny on lead vocals. Because Benny, that was his only lead vocal. Bjorn did a good few lead vocals, but no, Benny literally only did that song. So yeah. Right, well, thank you for watching. If you've liked what you've seen, feel free to like, share, comment and subscribe to the TubeMix YouTube channel. You can follow me on Instagram, willradford.5678. You can follow me, willradford9 on Twitter, I think. WillMix20, all one word, on TikTok. And let's see. And YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Yep, that's it. So I lose track of what. I'm everywhere. So yeah, it is a bit hard to keep track. But yeah, I hope you really enjoyed it, and yeah, kicked off the Christmas album reviews, and next episode is going to be Kylie Christmas by, funnily enough, Kylie Minogue from 2015. And even though she'd done a few Christmas songs before, this was her first and to date only Christmas album. So I look forward to bringing you my thoughts on that. In the meantime, have a great week, and I'll see you. Oh, of course, and another thing to look forward to is going to be a film review, because after 15 years, the original Enchanted, Disney's Disenchanted comes to Disney Plus on tomorrow, actually. Friday, November the 18th, which is also BBC Children in Need Day as well. So I'll be watching Disenchanted even. And I'm going to be bringing you my thoughts on that. Amy Adams is back, Patrick Dempsey is back, James Marsden is back, Idina Menzel. And the funny thing is, 15 years ago, unless you were a musical nerd or listened to Elaine Page on Sunday, then most people wouldn't know who Idina Menzel is. Fast forward. Excuse me. We've had a big role as Elsa in Frozen, which I think just completely... I mean, Wicked was popular, but Frozen on the scale of musicals... I mean, it's interesting. Some musicals, they seem to be really big, and some musicals just don't seem to really have that same impact. Of course, it can't be the same thing. You know, you think The Greatest Showman, how big that was at the time, and it's still big. You know, This Is Me is often played on the radio, and Rewrite the Stars as well. I'm not a big fan of The Greatest Showman, but it is interesting which musicals, some musicals just seem to, everybody's talking about Jamie, seem to be quite big, and then it seemed to sort of fade. Although I say that, I follow Dan Gillespie Sells, lead singer of the Feely, and Italy. They were doing a production in Italy, which is quite funny because everybody's talking about JB's set in Sheffield. So yeah, that's quite funny, but absolutely amazing and brilliant. But anyway, I'm deviating again. Disenchanted, so I look forward to giving you my thoughts on that. Alan Menken and Steven Schwartz are back to do the songs. Will they be as good as the first songs? I mean, I'm trying to think from the first film. I only remember True Love's Kiss, and That's How You Know. Oh no, Happy Working Song. And I think apart from that, yeah, not many of the songs from Enchanted are that memorable, I'd say. But yeah, we'll see what Alan Menken and Steven Schwartz. I think there's 6 songs, 2 reprises, or is it 7 songs, 2 reprises? So it's like, woo, blimey! I know it's a musical, but God, that's a lot. Maybe more than Mary Poppins. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, I look forward to bringing you my thoughts on Disenchanted, and it's going to be very interesting. So I hope you join me for that, and I hope you join me for another episode of TubeMix's album reviews. And yeah, until the next time, have a great week, stay safe, and see you next time. Bye.